fun. Hi, this is Tiffany Domino with howtoentrepreneur.org, and today I'm with John Crestani, and I'm so excited that you joined me here. And I know I have a lot of questions because I met with different affiliates to gather questions to ask you because everybody knows you are earning like 20,000 a day and 700,000 a month and doing a lot of things online. And so a lot of people really want to get to the roots of how did you get to where you are? How did you overcome all of the confidence and mindset and prioritization issues that we all go through as entrepreneurs? So I'm really excited to ask you questions and I'm hoping that you can help us bridge the gap. So
For sure.
first, I
Yeah.
want to start with some background. So how long have you been in business?
So I mean that's so I've been in business I'd say since 2000. Um, I started my first like business, so to speak. I'd say in 2008.
Okay.
I read this book, The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. I was on a semester abroad in Thailand, and I got hooked. I said I want to travel the world. I want to and I want to make a lot of money. And I don't want to be beholden to a job. So I started a YouTube channel. I hired some. I called it a film project, and I got some people working for me for free. Just as interns, and people in Thailand were super excited to work for an American, to be on a,
Wow.
American, shoot. And so I rented a camera, got the interns to film, we were filming like a backpacking, YouTube series, but it never went anywhere. It didn't make a dime. Uh, oh. But I got my real start in marketing, I'd say, in 2009. I always took good notes, so I did what's called offline marketing. So I started putting up flyers around my school campus, and I put up here, let me these
Wait,
little
so wait.
flyers, and I'd scribble, I'd write a headline up here, I'd write like a sub headline, and then I'd have these little tear tabs, and I put them around campus, and I'd go out every week and I'd test a new headline to see if anybody, tore a tab, and that's how I measured it. So it was basically the headline was the copywriting, the tabs was the tracking, and
Wait. So this
what
is in high school or is this college or what
college.
school? Oh, okay. So you started at your university. Where were you at this point?
So I went to Cal State Northridge, and there's some big like auditorium style classrooms in the business school. Particularly there's this like big accounting building which has like it's like space for like I don't know, it's like 400 students or something like that.
Okay.
And there's only like two sides of the buildings. There's two like main entrances and exits. So I would put up my flyers before class started, before people started filtering in. And I remember I would actually go and I'd sit at a bench, kind of across the main walkway, and I'd literally watch how people interacted with my flyers, with my tear
Wow.
tabs sheets, and I'd see, because people kind of mulled around the doors before they went into class, and then there's, people kind of mulled around afterwards, or people would, just, so I would just watch them, and I'd see, are they actually reading? Are they reading it, or are they glancing at it? Is it how
So
long? Are they reading it more? Are they tearing a tab? Are they considering it? Are they, So
so what
I would
type of
just
offers is this that you were putting up there?
course notes.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you were offering them the notes from the class that they just came out of.
yeah. Exactly. Because I'd done the class previous semester, so and I'd written up all the notes on my laptop.
Oh, okay, cool. So then about 10 years ago, you were in the university at that point,
Hmm. Yeah.
and you were putting up flyers, and now you are in California with a Lambo and planes and all of these things. Like
Yeah,
what?
helicopter.
So when did you start? Like, let's start with mindset. So did you ever have doubts and confidence issues that maybe you would be able to be successful or that you would be able to start a business, or did you go through that phase?
See, like I would say, like I feel like the expected answer here is like, oh yeah, I doubted myself. I felt, I got so scared. I think I got a lot of my confidence from sports. I don't think I had too much confidence issues because I played a lot of sports and I learned the losing game pretty early on. I was always, playing sports. For whatever reason, I always seemed to be on the kind of the losing team. So I gotten some sort of inoculation of failure. And when I got to college, I just, frankly, I just wanted to make money. I felt like a loser, just kind of being broke and beholden to, the petty amount of, money you get, going to college and, working, an $8 an hour job. So
But
I still
think that's important. I still think it's important how you mentioned that you built that tough skin, because at some point you have to have the ability to hear, to be disappointed, and also the confidence to do like you did with putting the signs up and like maybe it not working. So I think that yeah, the sports, I've heard that before where people exercise to build their confidence. I think it was Ed Milet talks about how he used to exercise and keep promises to himself in order to build his confidence. So I think that makes sense. So another thing, have you ever been disappointed with the progress you made in business, and how did you deal with it? Did you ever did you start off winning in business? Did you start off just like making affiliate commissions and it just kept going uphill, or did you start off and it was like kind of you had a tough time figuring things out, or how did it go?
Yeah, I didn't make my first affiliate commissions for 4 years. So, I'd been trying in 2000. I tried affiliate marketing in 2008, but I couldn't get it to work. Couldn't figure it out. And at that time, the big resistance was, setting up a landing page. I just didn't want to learn how to program. I didn't want to learn how to, at that time, there wasn't lead pages, there wasn't ClickFunnels, there wasn't any of these WYSIWYG website builders. No, I failed a lot, and even when I was doing good, with my my course notes business, I had expanded to I found a network of people through that would put up flyers. Once I found a winning flyer, I scaled it to basically universities all around Southern California, and I got kind of a street team to go out and put up these flyers because I knew if I put them up in the business school that I'd get people contacting me and I'd make money. So, but I always beat myself up because I was trying to make that transition to an online business, right? So even, here I am in college making $10,000 a month, selling, basically a PDF file, because everybody takes the same course, and, I'm beating myself up because I don't have an online business, because I knew that if I could figure out a way to just get my flyers up, basically my messaging up in front of people on the internet, the same people that, I know the same people that are on, that are standing in front of that classroom looking at my flyer, they're also on the internet. Usually they're more so. So I was just trying to figure that out, and I just couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And I would constantly beat myself up, and there's always another level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
was the main thing you said the landing page was the challenge? Um, did you also have a challenge targeting the audience since you were trying to bring an offline business online? Did you
yeah,
have problems with getting that same audience, or did you end up
yeah,
going through with that?
yeah. I had no idea. I learned. I had no idea how to target. I tried a lot of things, but I didn't have any model to go off. I was just doing trial and error.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so basically, for 4 years, were you still trying the same business and trying to make it work online, or did you pivot?
I I I would. I don't know if pivot's the word, but I definitely tried a lot of different businesses before I got really focused. I started an eBay business. I started I did the course notes business. I tried. I was doing poker. Where I was multi-tabling like poker star or full tilt poker stars. I'd have like 10 different poker, online poker tables open, and I was trying to do that.
Wow.
I tried counting cards. I tried finding casinos that did single deck blackjack, and I would try to, single or double deck blackjack, and I try to figure out like the point system to count cards. I tried day trading. I took some of the money I made, and I tried 5,000 in day trading, and I just couldn't get it to work. I tried a lot of different things during that period. I tried sales. But it wasn't, but I eventually got affiliate marketing going, and the rest was history. I just started scaling really big.
That's awesome. So you kind of answered my next question because, like a lot of entrepreneurs go through that where they might start a lawn care business and then they might start some type of maybe retail, and then there's so many different business models online. You can do the rank and rent SEO, you can do e-commerce. So you tried quite a few things, and none of those really worked out for you.
And that all those businesses worked. The reason they didn't work was because I wasn't focused. I wasn't focused on on the money. I would have been a multimillionaire a lot quicker had I literally just focused on how to build a better business, putting up flyers around college campuses. If I just focused on that, I would have become a millionaire much earlier than I did. But I jumped around. I always found reasons that seemed very perfectly valid to doubt the direction I was going, and I kept second guessing myself.
Yeah.
What I know now is that you can't necessarily trust every thought that comes into your head, and like training myself to understand what thoughts I'm having are legitimate and what thoughts I'm having are kind of
shaky, yeah.
put into my brain somehow.
Yeah.
Has been probably the biggest challenge, but the biggest benefit in helping me focus and grow my business.
That's an awesome tip. Do you think that you learned that from, like, I've heard people who study emotional intelligence and things like that in order to learn how to sift through their thoughts and to not act emotionally, but to use logic versus emotion. Did you have to like strengthen that muscle? Because I think that's something that you have to develop in order to be really successful. Do you think that was the case for you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I believe it's one of the hardest muscles to train because it's one of the sneakiest. It's one of the sneakiest.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to respond to things emotionally. And I know that in the emotional intelligence book they have this example where a shark comes at this guy and he starts his emotions just go, and then I guess over time you learn how to just not deal with stuff like that. So when you have somebody on YouTube that says nasty stuff about you, you just kind of have the tough skin. You don't respond emotionally. So that's cool. And so going on to getting feedback. So this is a phase where, you've started your course business and you've started other businesses, and it had to be some point where you started talking to people and saying, hey, do you think a course business would work, or do you think e-commerce will work for me? Like, did you always have people who were supportive in the early phases when you were experimenting?
Uh, yeah, I guess I've always, I mean,
Were
when
you?
I started my course, I had people who were supportive, for sure, because at that time I'd been very involved in this one internet forum called Stack That Money for a couple years.
Okay.
And so I was a known figure on the forum. I'm still one of the most posted members in that forum. And so at the time, I'd shown case studies, and people, some of them followed me on other social channels, so they knew I was making money and traveling the world. So I put up a post which said, hey, I actually wasn't looking to sell a course at first. I put up a post saying, hey, I'm looking for media buyers to work for me. I'm looking for people to work for my company to buy ads and make commissions. And I said you'd get paid on a commission only basis. Basically they would be working for me, placing ads that I came up with on various, different ad networks.
Okay.
And because I was a fairly successful person on this forum where most people were struggling, I was only looking for a couple people to work for me. And I got hundreds and hundreds of applications. So I just said, hey, it's too many applications. I'm going to start charging money for this, because obviously there's more people that want it, way more people that want this than there is demand. So if there's a supply-demand gap, it's an obvious revenue opportunity.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, it's $5,000. And, I thought I'd throw out something ridiculous, because I was really only looking for a few people to work for me. But the response was so many people wanted to pay me $5,000 to learn how to do affiliate marketing. I said, okay, I'm just going to create a digital course. And,
Oh, that's awesome.
and all of you can have it. And what I decided to do is I decided to build an affiliate network as well, because I said, well, I can't, that's fine if they pay me $5,000, but I want them, I had other media buyers that were making me like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year from affiliate marketing. So I said, I want them making me a lot of money. So I started my own affiliate network to further take advantage of the fact that, I was training these people.
Okay.
And that's how the whole thing started. And then I started, really pushing my own training and education so that I could get more affiliates into my affiliate network. So I could essentially have them work for me. So the pitch, it stayed the same. I just realized there's two revenue models there instead of one that I could, which was kind of exciting.
Okay, so so now you work more with ClickBank. Do you still have your own affiliate network?
No, I lost so much money doing that.
Oh.
I took. I was really dumb, because I was taking all the money from a cash flow positive business like affiliate marketing. Like pure profit margins. With the info product, it was pure profit margins. But either way, both those businesses were cash flow positive. And I took all the money I made and put it into a very cash flow negative business, such as an affiliate network. And I just ended up getting my butt handed to me, because all these things, employee embezzlement, fraud, non-advertiser non-payments. You know, one of our clients went bankrupt and left us with a $250,000 bill.
Oh man!
It just, I really got hammered, and I lost almost $1 million,
Wow.
which was like all the money I had at the time. Doing that, so that was pretty bad. What was the question again? Sorry.
I was asking because you mentioned that you had an affiliate network, and I was asking, do you still have it?
No, I work off of. I'm slowly moving off of ClickBank so I can move to affiliate networks where I will get second-tier commissions, affiliate referral commissions, because ClickBank doesn't offer affiliate referral commissions. So, basically, I'm building their business for them, and it doesn't really. I don't really understand how that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So, well. Interesting. So a lot of people have asked about your background. Were you married? Did you have kids? Did you have responsibilities? Did your parents pay all your bills and then you just could spend all your time on exploring and trying businesses? Or how did you start out? Like a lot of the people who I've talked to, they have families or they have kids or jobs and things. And so it's like, how did you get from this position where you have a job or maybe a family responsibilities and get to where you are? So can you help us to understand like what type of responsibilities you had and how did you prioritize and navigate through that?
Sure. You want me to start by like me growing up or start with?
Well, let's start with when you started to see. Well, you did the course business. But that's not really where you stay. And then, so let's start there. At that point, were you married? Did you have kids? Because you were you had to be spending a decent amount of time on that.
Yeah, the course business. I was married. I had a kid on the way. So when I really got into it was 2000, end of 2016, and in 2016 I lost almost $1 million in basically everything I saved up that I hadn't like squandered on like bottle service in Vegas from affiliate marketing, and I squandered all that on running a really bad running an affiliate network. And so my wife was like 7 months pregnant.
Wow.
And I had lost $1 million. I was $250,000 in debt to the government, back taxes. And I mean, I had panic attacks. Like it was, I had no income, because I'd stopped doing affiliate marketing and tried to manage, employees and finances and credit lines and factors, and I was looking for investors, and I was doing all this stuff. I was really off of my core competencies, I would say, which are really marketing. I'd say marketing and networking to some extent, and I'd really gone off my core competencies and gone into my least capable areas. And I was just, I wasn't making any money. I owed a lot of money. I just sold my affiliate network so I could get rid of it, and it was really scary time for me. So so yes, I had responsibilities at that time, and how did I do it? I just muscled up and I barreled through. And as I said, I had panic attacks. It's where, and for those that don't know what a panic attack is, it's where your chest gets really tight. You get this random, overwhelming sense of dread for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
It would, I would be dry heaving. It's an actual like
asthma.
It's
like asthma. It looks like asthma.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. So that really sucked because I knew I had to provide for a family. I wasn't single now. It's much easier. Everything's easier when you're single. You can take any risk you want. But I can't tell my wife to sleep on my friend's couch.
Right.
I could sleep on my friend's couch, but I can't tell my wife to.
Yeah.
So So that was a really scary time, and that's when I really buckled down and I said I'm going to focus on focus on the course business because I know affiliate marketing really well. I'm really good at it. It's a pure marketing play. It's a unique product that I already have. I'm just going to market it. I'm just going to turn back on my campaigns and market it. And I started getting better and better and better at figuring out how to market it. And I dug myself out of a big hole, but I goes focus nonstop.
Wow. So when you started all over again, that was only maybe 4 years ago, right? 3-4 years ago.
2017 was like 3 years ago. Or the end of 2016 was 3 years ago.
Okay, so you started over again, and at that time, you started in a really rough position. And so, I mean, you were having these panic attacks, and somehow you decided to wake up. And did your wife still support you at that point? Was she still like, yeah, keep going with it, honey?
She didn't know. She didn't know.
How?
What do you mean how?
How didn't she know? She didn't know that you didn't wake up and go to work somewhere, right?
No, I work from home.
So, but she never said, go get a job, or this isn't working out, like maybe you should try something different.
She didn't know anything was not working out. Nothing
Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. So you only knew that things were getting hard. You didn't really relay that to her.
Yes.
Oh, so you didn't lose anything that was noticeable.
I mean, we were living in an apartment, and I gave us the same. We didn't lose anything that was noticeable. It's not like we started selling our kitchen appliances.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, when they get into, hardship financially, then they have to downsize or it changes their lifestyle.
Yeah, we'd always been living in an apartment, and
So you were always living below your means.
Generally speaking, when I went on, I'd really splurge when I went on trips.
Okay.
With her and me, we'd go to a concert, we'd go to a winery, a wine tasting event, we'd go on a weekend trip. Even though I was $250,000 in debt to the IRS, I still had, some money on like cash I could spend on credit. It wasn't like, you just can't spend anything. So, so we'd still go out on like weekend dates and all that stuff. So that, but.
Okay, cool. And so you just kept going, but you just pivoted back into your core competencies so that you can make the process go faster. And
and what I actually remember was I literally took inventory of my life, and I kind of took a piece of paper and I split it down. I like using props, but I basically split it down the center, and I wrote like what I'm good at and like what I'm not good at. And like what I'm not good at is like, I wrote down like management, like financial finances, like legal stuff, like contracts and whatnot, taxes and tax preparation. And then I wrote down what I'm good at on the other side, which was advertising, marketing, advertising, copywriting, graphic design, all that stuff, right? And I was like, and I had realized what I did was I had literally created a business for myself where I was supposed to be doing everything I was worst at.
Yeah.
The affiliate network, I was managing, hiring, finance, cash flow management, contracts. That's my whole business was all the stuff that I sucked at, and all the stuff that I was best at, which was marketing, is stuff that was supposed to be being done by other people. So I realized I had to flip the equation, and I had to focus. First I had to focus on a business that just I was in, like no employees, no management, no reliance on other people, which is more difficult than it may seem when you're so used to having employees around you.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that was marketing. I had to be working alone, and I had to be working on marketing, and I had to make sure it was cash flow positive, so that I would just focus on what I'm best at.
Okay.
And when I focused on just my strengths, that's when things really started to turn around, and I saw a glimmer of hope, and I was back in control of the situation, so to speak, because I knew I have a skill. And my skill, I've learned through experience and through training, which is marketing.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So you did have responsibilities. You did have bills to pay. You did have kids starting out, but your wife was supportive. She didn't know about rough patches, and the kids. How did you balance that? Did you have times where you got off harmony, I guess you can say, where you were spending a lot of time in the business? Okay. And so how long did it take you when you started business before you felt like this can definitely support the lifestyle I want? Like with the course business, it sounds like, did it take off fast, or how long was it before you said, you know what, I can be an entrepreneur and I can support the lifestyle that I want being an entrepreneur?
Before I quit my job, I knew I was an entrepreneur. Before I quit my job, I knew I was good at marketing.
And what job was this, and where does this fall in the story of the job?
After college, so this is back. This is backing up in 2011 and 2012. I had a job, and
So
I
this is
was
after the
managing
course business?
pay-per-click advertising for clients, and I managed basically everybody's client in the entire department. I spoke with all of the other employees, and I said, I will manage your clients for you. I will do all of the back end marketing. I will do the optimization, and I would show them, look, I'm better. My results are really good. I wouldn't say I'm better at this, but I just kept practicing and kept practicing. I lived, eat, breathed, and slept it. And marketing is a skill, and it can be learned.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage everybody, if you learn a skill. It feels like it's powerful when you actually have a real skill that is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And managing people's ads, Google ads, is a powerful skill to have, and it's worth real money. So I always knew I had something that was very valuable. And if you have something that's very valuable, one way you can monetize that skill is to work a job. But why would you work a job? It's such a I don't know, it seems like a very basic way to monetize your skills when you can actually just go to the marketplace and say, and talk to people and say, hey, look, I have this skill, you have this need, you need more business, I can get you more business. Let's figure out a situation that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was always going to be in business. So at the point I understood I had a skill, I knew I was in business for myself. It didn't, it didn't. I knew I was. It wasn't like, oh, I have to get a job again.
Yeah. So that was after the course business, or
no? This is back in 2012.
Okay,
That's
so
when I was working for an
before.
ad agency. Yeah, we backed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flipping decades, right? Or so, and as far as funding the business, so when you started out, were you so you had the job and you were buying your domains and your hosting and everything from your income from your job? Is that how you were doing it? And
yeah.
then
All that's cheap.
yeah, it is. But like sometimes it's difficult for some people to acquire that stuff. And I've heard people who say that hosting domains and their education is expensive. So, haven't you heard that before?
I mean, people will say, if McDonald's raises the price of a hamburger, if they raise the price of a hamburger to $1.25, people say, oh, it used to be $1. It's so expensive now. It's a ripoff.
Right.
But what people say isn't always what they mean. So, I mean, people pay for. People think they're getting a deal when they get a scholarship to a big university, and they're like, I'm only paying, $15,000 a semester. Like, what a steal, So it's like, if somebody was to pay $15,000 for an online course, which actually, is taught by somebody who's like knowledgeable and making money, they'd be like, oh, that's like way too much. So like, what people say and what they mean is like, it's not, I think it's oftentimes based on false premises. So it doesn't totally register for me.
Right, I completely agree with that. And based on their presuppositions and education, how valuable it actually is to them and what they're willing to sacrifice to get it. I definitely agree with that. I have seen it, though, where people, they don't, I don't know if it's confidence in themselves or what the root of it is, but they think that what it takes to start their business is expensive. They want to start a business for free, and it just does not work like that. So that's why I was just going back to how you started, and like you said, you started with your job, and so that's how you were able to invest in your business. So
I started for free. It was a flyer, right?
Yeah.
It was a flyer and course notes. So, I think you can do anything. I think people create obstacles for themselves. I believe it depends on, for me, I'll speak from Gestalt. Is that for me? I believe a lot of it is kind of like a confidence thing, a maturity. I'd say I think a lot of it is a maturity thing. When I was in college, I don't think I was. I jumped around businesses because I don't believe I actually believed in myself enough. I believe I had confidence issues where, like I said, I continually doubted it. Thinking putting up flyers wasn't a real business when, I should have taken that to become a multi-million-dollar business in hindsight. I would have been successful a lot quicker, and really expanded my street team model and really started, marketing more aggressively, and maybe even hired somebody to figure out the market, or teach me marketing, or there are a number of things I could have done, and I started for free, but I believe it's a confidence, and I believe it's a maturity thing. You can do whatever you want. It's just a matter of, do you really want it, or are you just trying to trick yourself that you want it?
Yeah, I agree. And then you have dreamers, and you have people who actually will do it. So then on to building your systems, and then I want to get to the questions that people have, so we can make sure we get.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so building your system, starting with getting leads. You told us how you started getting potential customers for your course business, but then for the course notes business. But then when you started online, did you start out blogging, or did you start out doing the PPC from your background, or how did you start getting traffic to your own business online?
To my own. I've run a number of businesses here. My own affiliate, my own course business.
Yeah, let's do the affiliate business.
Okay, affiliate business was Google Ads.
Okay.
So I was doing Google Ads on search, and I was pushing people to a gold investment blog, and I was bidding on competitor keywords, which are still to this day one of the best areas to market in. And I get that traffic really cheap. Then I, expanded to, I advertised more products. Then I expanded to Facebook ads, and my business really blew up, big time. We started hitting like $500,000 a month, in business, which was really exciting. As like I was in my mid-20s, and I was I was crushing it.
So were you starting out?
And I was just traveling the world, and everybody who worked for me was remote, so that was pretty dope for a little period. I frequented Vegas quite a bit.
Wait, can I ask? Did you scale up your ad budget starting from where did you start from? Did you start from 10,000 a month, like you say you do more than tens of thousands a month, or did you start with a lower ad spend?
Started like $100 a day, and I was in the investment niche, and that quickly turned into like 10, 15, 25, all the way up to like $60,000 a month. When I was doing $60,000 a month, I was spending maybe like 15 grand or something, 15, 20 grand. So that was my initial big growth. So I was making what you want to say, like 40,000 a month. Then I was also still managing some clients on the side to keep me busy. So all in all, I was probably netting somewhere around, but I also had stupid little things, like I was trying to hire employees here and there. So I was probably netting 40,000 a month overall. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was in my mid-20s. Then, or early mid-20s. And then when I did Facebook ads, we were spending about, $100,000 to $300,000 a month to make back about $500. So that was also pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Do you think the key with what you were doing is the high ticket, because it was a high ticket offer? Do you think that was a big key to it, or would you, because a lot of people are in the Amazon Associates affiliate program and things like that, would you recommend them use that same method for a lower commission or lower ticket offers?
I recommend people use Amazon for lower ticket offers, of course. I mean, Amazon, everybody buys from Amazon, and also it's a great place to get your feet wet, because a lot of people, if you are one of those people where you don't have a natural confidence, you just want to see your first conversions come in. You want to just know that the internet works. I'd say that was a big thing for me, is just to know that affiliate marketing works. If I had gotten a conversion, if I had just gotten a conversion, one sale earlier on, I would have been hooked. But I tried a lot of different things, and I just wasn't able to make a commission for years. So it kind of it scared me. It kind of scared me off from trying it too much for too seriously for a while.
Yeah. But I mean, you did pay advertising, and you were spending $100 a day. Would you say for somebody to do the same thing with a lower ticket offer, or do you think that it's required that you have a higher ticket offer to do pay advertising like that?
Well, I mean, it's definitely 100% not required to have a high ticket item. Most affiliates are selling low ticket items through paid advertising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And what do you think, as far as the task to drive leads to a business online, what do you think are the most important things for startup affiliates to focus their time on?
For startup affiliates, just launching, every day. I would say launching new ads and looking at your data and drawing conclusions from it. That's it. Scientific process. 100% of the way. The biggest mistake I see people making is they're not launching new ads on a daily basis, or new campaigns, or new targeting methods. When I'm trying to get my income up in affiliate marketing, I'm launching new ads daily. It doesn't matter if I don't have a lot of time to research. That's fine. I'll launch an ad, but I will launch, if I don't have a lot of time, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to do the research today and I'm going to launch tomorrow, I'll launch the ad today, because the only thing that you can really learn from in sales or marketing is experience. And I think a lot of people, frankly, they're sissies. I see a lot of people, and people are just, I'll say it, people are just freaking pussies about launching an ad. And everybody knows the only way to get better at sales, you're not going to read, you're not going to read a book. You're not going to read like 20 sales books and say, okay, I'm ready to make a phone call. I'm ready to go sell something. You don't do that. You read 20 books and you say, okay, I'm going to go talk to somebody, and you're going to get rejected so hard, because books aren't going to teach you how to do sales. They may give you ideas once you're doing it, how to do it better. Yeah. But the only way you can learn marketing, having a training course is great, but you need to be doing it. Because if you're not doing it, it's meaningless. No matter how much research you do.
So when you're launching ads, are you launching new, like you're starting all over from scratch, new keywords, new titles, new ad copy, everything? Or are you like just tweaking what you already have to improve? Are you spending more time on optimization or new ads, basically?
At this point, I have other people do a lot of that stuff. I have agencies and whatnot, and I'm kind of focused on like larger scale things. But when I'm launching ads, I'm copying everything, and then I'll make some tweaks, and I'll test against the tweaks. Because just marketing 101 is you start with control. It's called a control, and a control is an ad that works, or a landing page that works, or target. So you always want to start with control. Start with what works.
That's great.
And test against it. But because you always need a baseline. If you don't have a baseline, it's like you're just flying. You're flying blind. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And translating that into organic, you would recommend looking at a blog that works and then tweaking, using that as a control and creating off of that. Is that how you would do it, like reverse engineering?
100%. So if I look up the best baby diapers of 2020, I'll look at those sites and I'll see how are these sites done. What is how are they selling products? Okay, they're using like lists. They're doing like, oh, we're going to list out the 10 best baby diapers, and then we're going to have special. We're going to rate them on a couple different, I look at how the other sites are actually doing whatever it is I'm trying to do. If I'm starting a blog, I'll say, okay, this is how other blogs are monetizing, and I want to monetize through affiliate marketing. Some blogs monetize through ads. Some blogs monetize through brand partnerships, that they got themselves. And, a lot of stuff is pretty easy to reverse engineer. Oftentimes you can just contact the person and be like, hey, what do you can we talk sometime? I'm looking to get into your type of business and I just need some guidance. A lot of business people don't, I get hit up thousands of times a day, so I'm not like that. And I put a lot of content on YouTube. But a lot of businesses are very easy to reverse engineer. And you just got to take a couple minutes to look at them and kind of trace things back and trace the revenue models around.
That's awesome. So I want to switch over to questions that other people ask so that I can let you off soon because you have an appointment. So the first question.
And I can take an extra couple minutes here, so we can just keep going.
Okay, the first question is from Paul Watson, and he says, is it a CTA or just links within the content that gives you the best return? But basically, you do paid ads, so it's not links within content, right? it's not blogging that's giving you the best returns.
Yeah, and the question asked is not mutually exclusive because you can have a call to action within content.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Nathaniel, and he says, where does he draw the line between creating realistic expectations of starting an affiliate business and using extreme wealth as a marketing tool to gain leads? Where do you draw the line? And we had this conversation before.
Great question.
Great question. I believe you have to. I believe you have to shock people. Okay? I believe you have to shock people because people have been shocked. People have been so utterly scammed by the education system and by society that it is hard to interrupt people's patterns. It is hard to get people out of the ideas of their broke parents, of their broke society, of their broke college teachers, of their broke, the people in the news that are writing, all of these people are feeding, every day you're being shocked by, oh, Trump said this, or, Turkey is, invading Syria. None of this matters to us.
Right.
None of this, I'm sorry, but who the heck cares? It's like, why are we focused on Turkey invading Syria when we are, out here in Idaho or wherever you are, trying to build a business, trying to fend for your family? It doesn't matter. And I think people get so huffy and defensive trying to defend their paradigm, trying to defend their no, the news is really important and you should be, watching, shivering in fear, about, you should be shivering in fear or shivering in anger or whatever it is, about something that some countries that want to go to war over who knows, in the other side of the world. It doesn't matter. Think about your family. Think about yourself. But we've been so told to no, we really have to worry about, who, what pronouns to use or what gender bathroom. And all of it is BS. And people work so hard to defend, it's like, I want to be called a Zer or like a Zed or, or whatever. I'm non-binary. It's like, no, mofo, you're I don't know. It's like these issues are not important, yet people care so much about them. So you need to shock. You need to shock people. It's important. Otherwise, people are going to because people have the blinders on. We are capitalism and the entire system we're in is built. It's built to keep you working your whole life. It's not built to let you be free. It's built. Now we're sitting today in an era where let's go back 25,000 years. Every human could afford to eat and provide for themselves. Roughly speaking, one person could provide enough food for one person. It's like your manual labor, a couple hours a day or whatever, how many hours a day would feed your family. And most of the rest of the time we sat around kind of like monkeys and just sat around and took care of babies or fiddled in digging ticks out of each other's hair. We're in a society today, 25,000 years later, where we're literally 1,000 times more productive or 10,000 times more productive than what we are. We have farming, we have technology. We don't need to fiddle around and pick ticks out of our hair. We don't need our lifespans or all these things. Yet at the same time, if we were 1,000 times more productive, wouldn't that mean that only 1 out of 1,000, if 1 in 1,000 people provided enough food and enough stuff for everybody to live, shouldn't that mean that 99% of people don't have to work, or that we just work 99% less? Right?
You're saying poverty should be cut. Yeah.
That's not the case at all, and it's because humans are cheap labor. It's humans are cheap labor, and when you use the media and when you use the education system as weapons, and assuming that most families come from a poor mindset anyways, you have all three influences working together to keep you under this thought pattern that you have to work for your entire life. You have to be paid an hourly wage. It's complete hogwash, and it's sinful. It's evil. It's disgusting, and I believe people, people need to understand that there is an alternative. It is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
So it is your duty. If you have something to help people, it is your duty to shock them. It is your duty to help them. It is your duty. If your whole family was going to eat at, I don't know, a restaurant, let's say McDonald's, and everything at McDonald's had been laced with arsenic, okay, with poison. And you said, hey, you shouldn't go eat at the McDonald's today. Everything's got poison in it. And they said, oh, whatever. It's whatever, Tiffany. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to McDonald's. You're crazy. If you really knew that it all had poison in it,
you would shock them,
and they were going to die, you would do whatever it takes to make sure they don't eat that freaking burger.
Okay. So
does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. So basically what you're saying is that your presentation is a pattern interrupt. It really shocks them, and it makes them decide to look further into an alternative. And I do think that I can understand that. On the flip side, there's two ways to shock. There's pleasure and pain. And have you ever tried pain?
All the time. I mean, that's
all the time.
People don't buy based on pleasure.
People don't buy based on pleasure.
People buy based on pain only.
Because like the presentation, based on what the question was, he was talking about the realistic expectations based on showing the Lamborghinis and the houses and things like that. And so do you ever what examples do you do to show like pain instead of pleasure from a shocking standpoint?
Well, there's a few things I do. I mean, one is, in my webinar presentation, I talk about my story, and what people do is, if I'm talking about, I've had panic attacks, and I was broke, and I was frustrated, and I was all alone, and I felt like I had nobody to speak to. When I say those things, even though I'm speaking in first person, what people do is they forget what the word is, but they like anthropomorphize. They'll if they're going through those same emotions, they'll start remember it, because everybody thinks about themselves. So even though if I'm talking about me, people will say, oh yeah, I'm frustrated, I'm all alone, I don't have anybody to talk to about this, I don't feel like I'm good enough, I feel like, I'm failing, too, so people take that, and another good thing is, to ask people questions, say, have you ever felt this way? There's a number of ways you can do it.
There's a number of ways you can do it.
And then this question says, you have a product that's $47 and you have one that's $9.97. Have you thought about putting something in between?
No, I haven't. We discontinued the $47 product, actually. I think it's more important to find quality. In general, I think it's more important to, if you can demand a higher price for whatever you're selling for marketing, I think it's worthwhile to help create a premium product.
Yeah.
I think that's, and also, what is going to be the price point that allows you to reach the most amount of people?
Right.
I think it's very important. And, you know, surprisingly, you know, like, or maybe not surprisingly, like oftentimes demanding a higher price point allows to reach more people.
Right.
Tesla wouldn't be, if Tesla said, okay, we're going to sell electric cars for $2,000, they wouldn't be selling street legal cars. They'd be selling toys. You know, they'd be selling toys that you put your kids in to go. You know, they'd be selling those little scooter toys that are, you know, they're little electric. You know, those, you know what I'm talking about? Those little mini cars that put kids in that are electric. But Tesla would, if Tesla was like, we're going to sell electric cars for $2,000 because, you know, we're really nice people and, you know, a lot of people are broke and we want to make it accessible to everyone. That's what they'd be selling. They'd be selling toys in Toys R Us, whereas they had to, when they began, they had, you know, they said, we want electric cars to get out to people, but to do that, we're going to have to charge $200,000 for a two-seater car.
Right.
To get it out. So that's what it takes. You know, especially when you're in a relatively new market.
Yeah, and I think one of the costs that a lot of startup entrepreneurs have a difficult time adding in, me included, is how much it costs to acquire a customer. You know, you think about how much it costs you the tools in order to run the business, but sometimes that cost of how much does it cost to acquire a customer, especially considering you have competition and all that, sometimes that can sneak up on you. So, well, I really, really appreciate you answering all of these questions and being so transparent and helping us to understand the background of where you came from and how you got where you are. I think that the outcome that we see, a lot of people are like, you know, it's admirable that you've been able to accomplish everything that you have. And so I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with us how you got there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope I provided value, and everybody listeing, you know, just stay focused, believe in yourself, and keep doing it. Everything works. You just got to believe. It starts with belief.
Yeah.
It starts with
belief. Well, thank you, and I really appreciate you. So that's all I have for this interview with John Crestani, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give a thumbs up and like and subscribe below. And also, can you tell us where they can check out the projects you're working on, where they can learn more from you?
Sure. Join me on YouTube. John. Last name is Crestani. Crestani. YouTube's kind of like my main social channel. So catch me there, and I'll make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. I do live streams every now and then as well.
Wow, so yeah, definitely go and check out the channel. I've watched quite a few of the videos, and you address affiliate marketing from a different vantage point, so I really like watching the videos from time to time. Whenever I get a chance, I go and watch some of the videos. So definitely check out the channel, and that's all I have for this video, and have a great day. Bye.